Swear your
The forest
allegiance to
road
me.
was empty
I
and
swear it, my
silent.
lord.
I walked slowly with my daughter
Swear
beside
your
me.
oath, human.
Her small
swear
hand
it.
held
The
my
ritual
fingers
is
tightly,
accepted.
as if
Rise,
letting
then.
go would make the world swallow her. Her name was Lyra. She was only 6, too
You
young
dare
to
trespass
understand
here.
war,
Forgive us.
too
we
young
meant no
to
harm.
understand
Your
why
fate
our
is
home
sealed.
no longer
No, please.
existed. 3 weeks earlier, our village had burned. Raiders came from the east. Houses turned to fire. Screams filled the night. By morning, everything we had ever known was Ashdod. My wife never made it out. Since then, it had been only the 2 of us, walking south in search of somewhere safe. But safety was a rare thing in a broken world. The road through the forest was supposed to be quiet. Traders once used it before the war. I believed it would help us avoid bandits. Instead, it led us somewhere far worse. The moment the trees opened into a narrow clearing, I saw her. She stood in the center of the road like a statue carved from iron. A giant orc woman. Her skin was deep green like moss after rain. Thick muscles covered her arms and shoulders. Dark braids hung down her back, tied with pieces of bone and metal. Her tusks curved past her lower lip. She had to be nearly 8 feet tall. Her yellow eyes watched us calmly. Lyra froze beside me. I felt her hand tighten around mine. Every story I had heard about orcs rushed into my mind. Brutal warriors, raiders of villages, creatures that crushed, men with their bare hands, and we had walked directly into one. My heart pounded, but running was impossible. Even if she did not catch us, the forest would, so I stepped in front of my daughter. The orc woman spoke first. Her voice was deep and steady. Humans rarely walk this road. Her words surprised me. Her voice was calm, not cruel. I swallowed. We are only passing through. Her gaze shifted to Lyra. Lyra peeked from behind my coat. The orc tilted her head slightly. The forest is dangerous today. A long howl echoed through the trees. Then another dot. Wolves, my stomach twisted. The orc woman looked toward the dark forest. They are hunting. I knew that sound. A whole pack. We would never outrun them. She looked back at us. You should not be here. I laughed quietly, but there was no humor in it. We should not be many places. She studied me for a moment. Then she asked, "Why travel with a child in a war zone?" The words cut deep. I forced them out anyway. Our village was destroyed. Raiders burned it. My wife died. I am trying to reach the river towns. The orc woman said nothing. The howls came again. Much closer. Branches cracked somewhere in the forest. The wolves were circling. I looked down at Lyra. Her small face was pale with fear, and I knew something was painful. Clarity. She would die here, unless I did something. My knees touched the dirt. The orc woman frowned slightly. "What are you doing?" I lowered my head. "I will give you my life." The forest went quiet. My gold, my strength, anything. Just take my daughter somewhere safe. Lyra grabbed my arm. "No, Papa." I held her hand gently. "It will be all right." The orc woman stared at me with clear confusion. "You offer yourself?" "Yes." The howls grew louder. Shapes moved between the trees. Now, eyes glowing in the shadows. The wolves were here. I continued, "I will serve you. I will fight for you. I will work until I die. Just save her." The orc woman slowly crossed her arms. Then she said something unexpected. "No." My heart sank. "You refuse. I refuse. Your death." I looked up in confusion. "I do not understand." She stepped closer. Her shadow covered us. You humans think orcs only take life. Another howl exploded from the trees. 5 wolves burst into the clearing, large and starving. The Sparatin leader screamed. The orc woman moved. Her axe flashed through the air. One wolf fell instantly. Another leaped toward her throat. She grabbed it mid-air and slammed it into the ground so hard the earth shook. 2 more attacked together. She kicked one away and split the other with a single swing. The last wolf hesitated. The orc woman roared, a terrifying sound that echoed through the entire forest. The wolf turned and ran. Silence returned. My breath trembled. The orc wiped blood from her axe. Then she looked at me again. You see, my voice barely worked. You saved us, for now. She crouched down so her eyes were level with mine. You offered your life to Isley. My daughter is all I have left. She studied Lyra carefully. The child looked back at her with wide, curious eyes instead of fear. Something changed in the orc woman's expression. Then she spoke. I will protect the child. Relief hit me so hard, I nearly collapsed. Thank you. But my heart tightened again. You must do something for me. Anything. Her tusks showed slightly as she smiled. You must live. I blinked. What? You offered your life. I refuse it. Confusion filled my mind. Then what do you want? She stood tall again. My name is Groska. I am chief of the Ironroot tribe. She pointed deeper into the forest. My people are strong. We hunt, we fight, but we do not understand the human world. I slowly stood. You want information. I want knowledge. She looked directly into my eyes. You will teach my people. Teach letters, numbers, language, the things humans use to rule the world. The idea was so unexpected, my mind struggled to grasp it. You want a teacher? Yes. I looked down at Lyra. She held my hand tightly, but she was smiling now. Will she be safe? Graska answered without hesitation. If any orc harms that child, they will answer to me. Something in her voice made it clear that would be a terrible fate. I believed her. Slowly, I nodded. I accept. Graska turned toward the forest. Good. We walked for nearly an hour through thick trees and rocky hills. Finally, the forest opened into a hidden valley. Dozens of wooden huts stood between tall stone cliffs. Fires burned in the center. Large orcs moved around, carrying tools and weapons. Many stopped when they saw us. Graska raised her voice. These humans are under my protection. No one argued. That night, we were given a small hut near the center of the village. Lyra fell asleep almost instantly on a pile of soft furs. I sat beside the fire watching the flames. Graska stood in the doorway. You begin tomorrow. I will try. She leaned against the wooden frame. You still look confused. I expected to die today. She nodded slowly. That was your plan. Yes. And now, I looked at my daughter sleeping peacefully. Now, I suppose I must live. Graska smiled slightly. That was always the better choice. The next morning, I began teaching. At first, the young orcs were cautious, but curiosity quickly. Soon they gathered around a flat stone while I drew letters in charcoal. They repeated the sounds loudly. Lyra laughed as she practiced with them. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. The orc children learned faster than I ever expected. Even some of the warriors joined the lessons. One evening, I noticed Graska watching from a hill above the village. I walked up beside her. They are learning well. Yes. She looked over the valley. Perhaps one day this knowledge will stop the war between our people. I followed her gaze. Below us, my daughter sat beside a young orc child, drawing letters in the dirt. For the first time since our village burned, I felt something new inside my chest. Hope. I had offered my life to a giant orc, woman to save my daughter. But instead of taking it, she forced me to live, and somehow that had saved us both. Asterisk.